Alrighty, hello YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am Cryptic Coil. In today's video, I want to showcase my entire collection of books that contain short stories. Shadyside Library actually has a very similar one that he did like maybe a year ago or something like that. But this video could turn out to be like really long, so let's go ahead and jump into it. First things first, I guess, I'll go ahead and show off my Stephen King short story collection. Now, I didn't include books like different seasons because that's not really short stories, that's novellas. But right here, I have Everything's Eventual 14 Dark Tales by Stephen King. And just for fun, I'm curious. Yes, yes. So this one right here has the short story 1408, which they made a movie out of, and that movie like genuinely scared me. I watched it in my 30s, like in recent years as an adult, and it genuinely scared me. And then it's also got Writing the Bullet, and they made both of these short stories into movies. Writing the Bullet was really good. It had what's his name, Dewey from Scream, David Arquette. Yeah, so that was a good one. Okay. So moving on from that one, I have a paperback copy of Night Shift. My father used to have this one in hardback, and he loaned it out to my aunt on my mom's side, and he never got it back. Then, I own another copy of Night Shift. And as far as Stephen King books go, I think that was it. Yeah, so the next, though, speaking of Stephen King, I have this book. It's called I Shudder at Your Touch 22 Tales of Sex and Horror. And it's got stories by Stephen King, Clive Barker, and Stephen R. Donaldson, and others. I don't think I've heard of any of these other authors, though. But yeah, that's the what the book looks like. Yeah, I don't have like Skeleton Crew anymore. I've sold like 4 copies of that book on eBay. I wish I would have kept one for myself. At the time, I wasn't interested in collecting Stephen King books. I didn't realize that that was going to change eventually. Let's see. I have this book. It's called Bloodsuckers, The Vampire Archives, and this is volume 1. And it's got stories by Stephen King, Dan Simmons, Bram Stoker, and many more. And it's a paperback copy. Just for fun, let's see. When did this come out? 2009. Wow. Okay. Wait, what? Wait. Did I see a two? Or I guess it's actually 2010, but um, and so I think that's probably about the last time Stephen King's gonna be mentioned. Let me show you these. These are really cool. Okay. So these are really old books by an author named Helen Hoke, I think. And so I have Spooks by Helen Hoke. And this is a hardback book. It used to belong to a school library. Um, from Ohio, I guess. It still has the library card. This library card was issued in on June 14th of 1968. And it looks like the last time that this book was checked out, The only years that I'm seeing are like 1991. Yeah, so when I was in third grade, they had these books in the school library, and I remember there was one, and it had a poem that I absolutely loved, and I don't remember the name of the poem, but I used to have it memorized, and I've lost it since then because it's been like 30 years now. But it went like cackle, 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 he, oh, what a sight for you to see. And it was kind of like long, but it like rhymed and it flowed so well. And it was kind of spooky. And I really liked it. And so I ended up buying these books on eBay, and I paid a pretty penny for them too. I think I paid north of $50. I think that they were selling this book for like $100, and then one day the make an offer book or option came along, and I sent an offer of $50, and it got rejected. And then I waited like another year, and then finally it was going for like $50, so I pulled the trigger. But then tax and shipping and all that, so it came out to north of $50. But that poem that I was talking about, it's not in here. I've combed through this so many times looking for it, and it's not in there. So then I went ahead and pulled the trigger on this one, and also paid a pretty penny. This is Witches, Witches, Witches by Helen Hoke, or I guess the stories are selected by Helen Hoke. And yeah, this is a cool one. Um, uh, just for fun, when did this come out? Because I remember this like in the early to mid '90s at my school. But oh, okay, this book I came out in 1958. So these are the only two I have. There's also Haunts, 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 but I only have the Spook, Spook, Spooks, and Witches, Witches, Witches. Um, but yeah, um, I found this paper inside Spook, Spook, Spooks that I never. Oh, this is the packing slip from my eBay purchase. Okay. Um. So let's move on. So those ones were really cool. Uh, Here's another one for adults. It's called Best New Horror, and it's got stories from like Ramsey Campbell, Neil Gaiman, Peter Straub, and many others. And I feel like this is a pretty popular one. Some of you guys watching might very well have this in your collection as well. Oh, this was given to me. There was a woman that used to do like custodial work at my company, or at the company I work at. And one day she just brought me a whole box of books. She used to do that, and this was like, gosh, 15 years ago, at least. And she used to bring me a bunch of books from time to time. She didn't watch TV or movies. She would go to thrift stores, buy books. There was one, like the Animal Humane Society thrift store, and they used to have like the best prices on books. And she would go there every week, buy up a bunch of books, and she would just go home every night and read books instead of watching TV or movies. And she'd just go through them. And when she found out that I was a reader, she used to bring some of them to me, and I still have a lot of them. And she hooked me up with good stuff too. And then I went and checked out that thrift store, and I found some good stuff there myself. And then they moved really close to my apartment. They used to be really far away. Like I literally used to live on one side of town, and that thrift store was on as far away as you could drive without driving out of town. Now they've moved really close to my apartment, but they don't have good stuff anymore. So this was a cool one. Let's see, what else do I got? All right. Here's another one for adults. Okay, and this is by the author Bentley Little, and this book is called The Collection. They actually turned this or one of these short stories. It's called The Washingtonians, and where they turned George Washington into like a killer, and they made a movie out of it called The Washingtonians. But that short story is in here, and I only read like a small handful of the short stories in this one, but the ones that I did read, I really liked. I like Bentley Little. He's a good author. I know he can be hit or miss, but even if you hate the ending of his books, you kind of appreciate the journey of getting there. But yeah, that okay, next, let me show off these, okay? So, this is a collection of short stories that was printed by Barnes and Noble. My mother bought herself one of these. She bought herself this one in the 90s, but she had it in paperback. And then within the last, like, I don't know, 10 years or so, I started finding them around town in hardbacks, like at yard sales and thrift stores. And this one is called 100 Hair Raising Little Horror Stories. And my mother ended up not really reading it, so I read it, and I enjoyed it when I was a kid. So yeah, I have that one. And then there's this other one called 100 Astounding Little Alien Stories. Again, printed by Barnes and Noble, and so were the other two. So then here's one 100 Ghastly Little Ghost Stories. Okay. And I don't. And then the last one that I have, and I don't know if there are any more than these four, but this is 100 Vicious Little Vampire Stories. And this copy used to be owned by a library, but it's in like super good condition, and I really appreciate the fact that it kind of has this protective plastic cover on the dust jacket. So I think that's really cool. So I have those. Then, come on. I know I had it here. 1 second. Excuse me, sorry. Spring allergies are kicking in, man. I don't want to. Oh, so then I have these three books. I don't know if it counts. Yeah, it counts. Okay. So the Midnight Library books. So this one with the green cover is book number 4, volume number 4. The one with the pink cover is volume number 3. And this one with the blue cover is volume number 2. So I'm just missing volume number 1, as far as I know, unless there's like, a book 5 out there or something. But I have 2 out of the 4. I mean, sorry, 3 out of the 4. I just need a volume number 1. And those all have 3 short stories each inside. Then I have this Tales from the Crypt book, and oh man, this is in such rough condition. I found it at a thrift store, but I love Tales from the Crypt, so I can help myself. I had to buy it just to have it for my collection. But I'd like to get more of these because this is volume number 3. Okay. I think that the my audience would really appreciate this. So I'll go ahead and jump into the Point Horror stuff. So this was published by Point Horror. This is the 13 Tales of Horror by 13 Masters of Horror, and it's got stories written by all the authors that wrote the Point Horror books, like R.L. Stine, Christopher Pike, D.E. Atkins, A. Bates, Caroline Cooney. I don't think that Jay Bennett has ever written a Point Horror book, but I do have some Jay Bennett books, etc. So I have this. And then J.B. Stamper was mentioned on that cover too. And J.B. Stamper has written these books for the Point Horror. So there's like Tales for the Midnight Hour. Then there's more Tales from the Midnight Hour. And then there's even more Tales for the Midnight Hour. So there's 3 in this collection, and I have all 3. You know how R.L. Stine books, you can oftentimes, and even Christopher Pike books, you can find them in bind-ups? Like, they should do that with a Point Horror collection. Like, they should have a Point Horror bind-up of these 3 books. Like, they should start doing that. I don't know why they don't. And then, lastly, from the Point Horror series, I have this one. This is called The Cat Dogs and Other Tales of Horror, and it's got 6 scary stories inside. And the only author that I recognized in the table of contents is Diane Ho. She has a short story called The Piano. Okay. So, let's see. Let's knock out some R.L. Steins. Okay. So, this one is called Beware, and it's R.L. Stine picks his favorite scary stories. And so, yeah, it's a hardback. It's got a dust jacket. It's in pretty good condition. Yeah, so this is a cool one. And R.L. Stine, I guess he does have like one of his own short stories in it, but then he also does a retelling of a Bram Stoker short story. Or he actually has 2 of his own short stories, and then he retells a Bram Stoker short story. And then there's other authors like Shel Silverstein and anyone else that I recognize offhand. Nope. Shel Silverstein is the only author that I recognize offhand. But yeah, there's that. Sticking with R.L. Stine, I have The Haunting Hour, Chills in the Dead of Night, and let's see, how many short stories are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so this has 10 short stories by R.L. Stine. It's called The Haunting Hour. I don't know if they make this in paperback or not, but mine is a hardback copy. Then here's another anthology. I think that R.L. Stine probably edited this, probably picked out who got to contribute a short story to this anthology, and it's called Fear, and it's got 13 stories of suspense and horror. So this is a cool one. Then I have The Nightmare Room. Oh wait, no. That does not count. That does not count. But I do have The Nightmare Hour, which does count. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this also has 10 short stories inside, edited by R.L. Stine. And I guess I should have known that because... Nope. Just because I saw the number 10, that was a coincidence. Huh. Okay. And I think that was it as far as R.L. Stine is concerned. Let me knock this one out. So this is Bruce Coville's Book of Monsters, Tales to Give You the Creeps, and this book is in absolutely horrendous condition. Like No, it's not, actually. Oh, I have two copies. This is the good one. Okay. No, I think there's a no. I'm mixing this up with another one where there's like a bunk bed and there's a little boy on the bottom bunk sucking his thumb. He looks scared, and then there's a bug man on the top. This is a different book. Um, yeah, so this has a bunch of short stories in it. It's by or it's I'm guessing it's edited by Bruce Coville, and it's got other authors too, but doesn't look like it. It's got stories from anyone that I've ever heard of before. So, okay, then I have this book by Angela Summer Bodenberg, and it's called If You Want to Scare Yourself. And it's got like five scary stories in it, I think. Yeah, it's got five of the scariest stories you have ever read. Each one is guaranteed to send shivers up and down your spine. Just for fun, I want to see what year this came out. 1984. It's in excellent condition, though, for a paperback that old, especially a paperback that used to belong to a child. Um, so then I've got my Alvin Schwartz Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark collection. Let's see. So here's the first one, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And I think that, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I think that most of you guys know these books like super well. You remember them from your childhoods just as vividly as I do. And then there's part two, More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. This is a reprinting with a holographic cover, and it's pretty cool. Then I have this like more almost but not quite pocket-sized cover that looks more standard for the series. And then there's Scary Stories Part 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones. Okay, and then I have the Scary Stories Treasury, and I think that, yeah, it contains all three books in one hardback. So that's really cool. I'm really proud to own those as well. And then in the same vein as those, I also have this one, and it's called More Bones, Scary Stories from Around the World. And it's not Alvin Schwartz, it's Howard Schwartz, selected and retold by Ariel North Olson and Howard Schwartz, illustrated by E.M. Sist or Gist. I think it's Gist. What year did this come out? 2008. Okay, then I have this trilogy. Okay, there's Scary Stories for Sleepovers by R.C. Welch. And then there's part two, More Scary Stories for Sleepovers by Q.L. Pierce. And then the third one, Even More Scary Stories for Sleepovers, again by Q.L. Pierce. Okay, so I have those as well. Then I have like a bunch of these ones from Alan Zulo. And Bear with me. This getting through these might be a bit of an obstacle. Let me take a drink of my Dr. Pepper, though. So this one is called UFO Kids, Real Kids Spellbinding Tales. And I just kind of hate the fact that these books are advertised as like true stories because you know they're not. But yeah, I have this one, and just for fun, this one is from 95. I didn't know about these books when I was a kid at all, by the way. Then I got Haunted Babysitters, and I think I have more than one cover. Um, I'm not sure. This is from 97, though. And then there's Haunted Schools, and I have two covers. So there's this one, and there's that one. So these are called True Ghost Stories of Haunted Schools by Alan Zulo. So I have the Haunted Babysitters, the Haunted Schools, UFO Kids, Haunted Animals. Okay, look at that dog. I love that dog. Okay. And then Haunted Campers. Okay, there's The Haunted Shortstop. Okay, that's a cool looking cover. Look at that kid. He looks so happy. And then that baseball, that's a pretty dope looking baseball. Okay, The Haunted Graveyard. That looks like that could totally be in Are You Afraid of the Dark episode right there. And then there's More Haunted Kids. Oh, so I guess there was Totally Haunted Kids. And then More Haunted Kids. And then he's got the 10 Creepiest Places in America. I think that you all know that I live in New Mexico, so let's see if that's mentioned anywhere. South Carolina, Marfa, Texas. Oh, the Marfa Lights. Yeah, okay. I know about that. Near Rachel, Nevada. St. Francisville, Louisiana. North Salem, New Hampshire. Marion, Pennsylvania. Chaco Canyon, New Mexico. Yep. Represent New Mexico in the house. And then True Scary Creatures. So those are my Alan Zulo books. Almost done here, people. Okay, so then this one author named Sansuchi, or Robert D. Sansuchi, I'm sorry about that. So he has these books. Okay, so there's like Short and Shivery, and then there's even more Short and Shivery. And then he's got this one, A Dare to Be Scared. And then A Terrifying Taste of Short and Shivery. And then Are You Scared Yet? Haunted Houses. So, and how many short stories are in here? In the Haunted Houses one. Not that many, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, Haunted Houses has 10. But this Short and Shivery one has 45. And then there's a condensed one with only 30. And then the even more Short and Shivery ones, there's 45 others. And then let's see, Dare to Be Scared. How many does he got? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so 13 in this one. And then in this A Terrifying Taste of Short and Shivery, looks like there's 30. But real quick, the ogres are okay. I'm wondering if these are 30 short stories from the Even More Short and Shivery. Let me just have a look at the table of contents here real quick. No. Okay. Yeah, so that's cool. So I have all those Robert D. Sansucci ones. And then lastly, I just have these kind of like little mini ones. So this is a little Scholastic paperback, and it's like the best ghost stories ever. I have this one. And just for fun, let's see, when was this printed? 2003. Okay. Yeah, so this was kind of a cool find. I've had this I want to say since before I even had this YouTube channel. Then Famous Ghost Stories. And I have no idea. Printed by Watermill. How old is this thing? This one is from 1994. So this one's cool, called Famous Ghost Stories. Let's see what these famous ghost stories are. So The Phantom Coach by Amelia B. Edwards. Then The Tapestried Chamber by Sir Walter Scott. The Apparition of Mrs. Vale by Daniel Defoe. The Empty House by Algernon Blackwood. And then Afterward by Edith Wharton. Okay. Yeah. Then there's 11 Great Horror Stories, including the Oblong Box and the Dunwich Horrors. And this was printed by Scholastic Book Services, I guess. Like, I don't even... Yeah, so there's like a bunch of old school stuff like H.P. Lovecraft, Jack Finney, Edgar Allan Poe, Bram Stoker, whoever Collier is. I've been seeing that name a lot lately. E. Everett Evans. But yeah, it's just this little paperback. And then lastly, I have this one, and this is a little Apple paperback, 13 Ghosts. 13 Ghosts, Strange but True Stories. If you don't believe in ghosts, you're about to change your mind. Interesting. So that was a cool cover. And let's see. This book is from 1988. And just for fun, I'm going to read what the short stories are called. And I guess the author is Will Osborne. So it's not... he wrote all these stories. So there's The Ghost Who Carried a Coffin, The Curse of the Mummy's Bone, The Phantom of the German Submarine, The Ghost of the Yorkshire Museum, The Ghost of the Irish Bride, The Ghost in the Brown Satin Dress, A Murder Solved by a Ghost, The Ghosts of the Tulip Staircase, The Airman Who Flew Back from the Dead, The Minister's Haunted House, The Ghost in the Rattling Chains, The Ghost with the Bright Red Scar, and The Revenge of the Murderer's Skull. Yeah, that sounds pretty dope, actually. Yeah. But that's it. I don't think I don't know, maybe I missed some things on my bookshelves because my bookshelves are in total disarray. Like I said, I need at least one or two more. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Horns up and peace out.